from Hollywood. The Jack Benny program with a special guest star, Roberta Peters.
Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show. You know, I was just thinking before I walked on here about the changes that have been made in television in the past 15 years. You know, now, I started myself in television about 12 or 13 years ago, and I remember when I first started, it took me about, 20 hours to learn an entire script. And then maybe an hour to get made up, you know. But, of course, I've been in television so long now that I've got it down pat. Now, you see, now it only takes me about an hour, and I learn the whole show, you see. Only takes me 20 hours to get made up. Of course, there are some days, you know, that are worse than others, and then I have to ask the director to tell the cameraman to put the cameras way in back so they don't get too close to me. Like today, I was so rushed I didn't have time to put on too much makeup. As a matter of fact, we have one camera that's across a street. Anyway, tonight I would like to present to you, ladies and gentlemen, our guest for this evening. Listen, will you tell that fellow to move the car that's parked in front of the camera, please? Thank you. But anyway, as I started to say, that our guest
I beg your pardon, Mr. Benny.
Yes?
We're from the Consolidated Press, and we'd like to take a picture.
From the Consolidated Press?
That's right.
Well, I would prefer you took a picture after the show, you know, instead of right now when we're...
Well, all we want to do is take a picture. It'll only be a minute.
Well, all right. Go ahead. I always like to wear glasses. You don't mind?
No.
Right ahead. Right ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, all these silly things happen on my show, but tonight I really wanted to maintain some dignity because I have as my guest star the very beautiful and talented leading coloratura soprano of the Metropolitan Opera, Miss Roberta Peters. Roberta, I can't tell you how proud I am that you are a guest of my type of a show, a comedy show,
Oh,
really.
thank you, Jack.
And I'm not the only one that feels that way, the whole crew. Even the boys in the orchestra over there, in your honor, they're wearing shoes.
I'm certainly flattered, Jack. And I see that the piano player over there is also wearing white gloves.
Well, that's not on account of you. He wears gloves because he doesn't want to leave his fingerprints on anything.
Well, then when he told me he plays a hot piano, he wasn't kidding.
You're good. Wait a minute. But anyway, forgetting about the orchestra, I must tell you again how much I appreciate you being on the show. I really do.
Oh, thank you, Jack. Thanks.
And you know, there's one thing that puzzles me, though.
What is it?
Well, when I asked you personally to appear on my show, you seemed to be happy to do it. And yet, when I spoke to your agent about it, he seemed to be reluctant.
Well, maybe he doesn't like the idea of my being on a show with a comedian. He feels that since I'm of the opera, I should maintain a certain dignity.
Well, I certainly approve of that. I think he's right. But then, don't forget, he probably doesn't know that I have been a student of the opera for many, many years. You know, I discuss it all the time. I mean, as a matter of fact, there's one thing about the opera I wanted to discuss with you.
What is it, Jack?
Now, which male role, do you think is the most important in opera? The role of Mario in La Boheme, or Rudolfo in La Tosca, or Gaudio in La Gioconda?
Well, Jack, I find it a little difficult to answer that question.
Why?
Well, in the first place, the role of Mario is not in La Boheme, it's in La Tosca. And the part of Rodolfo is not in Tosca, it's in La Boheme. And Jack, the greatest male role in La Gioconda is Enzo.
Enzo? Well, how did I happen to think of Gaudio?
He's my agent.
I should have known that when he was screaming at me. He was singing or something. But anyway, one of the reasons that I've sort of gotten away from the opera is because, I've gone into the concert field. I do 3 or 4 a year for benefits, you
really?
see.
Oh, I think that's wonderful, Jack. Whatever gave you the idea of playing your violin for charity?
For charity?
Yeah.
Well, I tried it the other way and nobody bought tickets. I can't understand how anyone who sings an opera, who looks, to me, you're so slim and so charming and so beautiful and everything, and you look so good. And I always had a feeling that opera singers were like, well, I don't know how to describe it, but they always seemed to me like Don Wilson in a dress. Really, most of them do.
Jack, that isn't nice.
Well,
how would you like it if I started insulting other comedians?
Well, be my guest. Go ahead. Bob Hope, or George Burns, or Red Skelton, or Jack Benny. No, not Benny. He's my favorite. But look, I'm sure, Roberta, that the audience, they're waiting here to hear you sing. I know they're very anxious to hear you sing. So if you'd like, I'll announce your number.
Fine. Thank you, Jack.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Roberta Peters will now sing the Shadow Song from Dia Nora.
Ombra me cara, coriata cara, resta con me. tonight. I took time out to watch Mr. Benny's show, and now I'm behind with my housework. Maybe some other time, Roy. Oh, okay. Bye. Well, I better get on with my dusting. Well, that'll do it.
Hello, Rochester.
Oh, boss, that was a good show.
Did you like it? Really?
Oh, that was class. Real class.
How about that Roberta Peters? I mean, the way she looks and sings and everything. By the way, put this away. This is a record she gave me as a present of one of her songs, you know.
What's in the suitcase?
There are 18 pairs of shoes. I had to lend it to the orchestra, boy.
Just shoes, no socks?
Well, you know, you can't force too much on them at one time.
I'll put these things away.
Okay. Gee, that was sweet of Roberta Peters to give me one of her records. You know, I think she's kind of stuck on me, too. Yeah, I wish I were about 30 years younger. Come to think of it, I am. Say, Rochester, you know what I've been thinking? I've got to do more shows like I've done today. I've got to combine comedy and culture. You know, have stuff written by Paganini and Bizet and Grieg and Gounod.
Boss, they wrote for you last year.
No, that was Perrin, Balzer, Gordon, and Goldman. But I must do shows that really have class, like maybe a big symphony orchestra on the stage, or maybe a ballet with 150 people all over the stage. It needs that.
Boss. Do you have to think about it now? You're all wound up. Why don't you take it easy? Relax.
Relax. I don't know. I don't feel like reading or anything.
Well, why don't we finish that checker game we started this morning?
The checker game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right.
Well, fine, come on.
Might as well have nothing to do anyway. Whose move is it?
Oh, it was yours. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Let's see now. Rochester, I'm kind of hungry. I wish you'd give me a fried egg sandwich, would you, please?
One fried egg sandwich coming up. How do you like the egg? Sunny side up?
No, turn it over.
Shall we finish the game now?
Oh, I don't know. I don't feel like playing. I'm not in the mood. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to put on that record that Roberta Peters gave me.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do it right now.
Fine. Then I'll go and clean up the kitchen.
Geez, I hope that Miss Peters wasn't angry when I told her that most opera singers look like Don Wilson in a dress. That was an awful thing to say. I really didn't mean it. There's my favorite opera, La Traviata. Oh, boy, what a beautiful voice. I wish I could be an opera. I really do. Gosh. Hey, that's where Violetta is singing and waiting for her lover to come to her.
We'll be back in just a moment, but first...
Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I do hope you all enjoyed our little bit of opera. And now, once again, I'd like to present our guest star, Miss Roberta Peters. I do want want to tell you how happy I am and to thank you for giving such a wonderful performance.
Oh, thank you, Jack. I enjoyed it so much.
Did you?
Yes.
You know, I envy you to be able to sing like that. Gee, I wish I could sing as well as I play the violin. You know?
Well, I think you do.
Good finish right there. Goodbye and thanks.
Thank you.
So long.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
This has been a J&M production. And this is Don Wilson saying good night.